In this video, we're going to rewire our spare tire subwoofer into the B pillars of our Rav4. This is the too long didn't watch version of the video. You're going to install your subwoofer, you're going to remove your back seats, you're going to remove this trim panel, you're going to remove the side trim panel, you're going to remove the B pillar panel. You're going to have an exposed area like this. You're going to take your wires, you're going to go through a hole over there, and then you're going to run your right side wire and then your left side wire. You're going to run it under the trim panels up to the B pillar locations for both the right and left side of your vehicle. Then you're going to get T-tap connectors and spade connectors so you can wire the subwoofer and tap into the audio signal going to the B pillar, going to your door speakers. On the passenger side, there is a wire with a red strip. That red strip is your negative wire. The other wire is your positive one. On the driver's side, there is a wire with a white strip. That is your negative. The other wire is your positive. For more details, watch the video. In this video, we're going to rewire the spare tire subwoofer into the B pillar of the Rav4. The B pillar is located just on the left of my shoulder, right over here. We have one on the driver's side and on the passenger side. And these B pillars are where the wires go through the wall and into the door to your rear speakers. We want to connect our subwoofer into the audio channels that go to the rear doors because you want the bass coming from the back and not from the front of the vehicle. When we remove the B pillars, we're going to look for the two wires that go to the speakers. We're going to use T-tap connectors to take signal from those two wires and send it to the subwoofer. In the first video where we installed the spare tire subwoofer, I took the signals directly out of the head unit before it went to the 4-channel amplifier, but I removed the amplifier and I went to a different head unit, so I'm going to install the spare tire subwoofer in a different way. Tapping into the B pillars for audio signal is probably the technique most of you guys will use. The goal of this video is to get audio signal from the B pillar to the subwoofer. It is not to power a subwoofer, which I already covered in my first video. It is mid-afternoon on a Saturday, and I imagine there's going to be a lot of activity outside because it's been raining all week. So if you hear a lawnmower or a lot of children, I do apologize. I will try to have a clean audio signal for this video. This is the cargo area where I keep the spare tire subwoofer inside of the spare tire of the Rav4. Mine is a full size, so yours would look like a smaller donut if you don't have an upgraded spare tire. I highly recommend going this path if you want more bass for your Rav4 before you go off and upgrade your door speakers, because you will need an amp to get the most power from your door speakers. You could go with the subwoofers that kind of stand in the back cargo area. You'll need to secure it somewhere, but that takes up valuable cargo space, which you will appreciate having if you own a Rav4. So definitely consider one of these. There is a Rockville version and there is a JBL version. I went with Rockville because of the budget, but if you go with the JBL, you'll probably be more happy, although I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between the two. The tools that used to be here, the jack and the lift by Toyota, I just stick them over here on the side. So you don't really need that whole styrofoam insert in here either. In order to get signal from the B pillars, we need to remove the rear seats. We need to remove these trim panels over here and the trim panels along the doors. This is so we can hide the wires and protect our system. To remove this trim panel over here that kind of houses the shape of the wheel, we need to lift these covers off, which just have kind of spiked screws that kind of fit into this plastic. Nothing major, you can just lift it with your hands. This trim panel actually has screws located over here and over here, which I forgot to install in the last time I removed it, but they are Phillips screws that you just simply, unscrew. And then once you do that, we have trim clips over here along this side under here, so we're just gonna pull this up and remove it. So on the back side of this, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 white trim clips that fit into various holes along here. Once you have this removed, we're going to remove the backrest of the back seats. There are 4 bolts, 2 on each set of seats that we're going to remove. You are going to get your socket wrench and a socket that is 14 millimeters in size, and just rotate this out of here. Once we have the bolts removed, we're going to come over here and sort of lift this bracket up to free up the back seats. So there's like a little hook mechanism here that go into here. So we're gonna lift it up. That way we can pull this out and out of the vehicle. And do this for all 4. Then with that done, we can just pull this out, and now it's free. And we can set this aside while we work on the other side. Once the single seat is out, there is actually a bolt that holds the seat belt that runs that shares between the paired seats down over here. You need to remove that bolt and unplug the harness or the sensor for the seat belt before you can remove the backrest on the paired seats. The corner side of the bench has a buckle right over here that we need to just lift off and free up. So you're just gonna put your hands under here and just use some force to lift it up. And then we're gonna do the same thingy for the other side. On the buckle of the paired seats, there is a clip here that we need to remove. This is basically a sensor showing that the passenger, if there's somebody sitting in the rear seats, that the passenger is buckled. So we're simply just going to unclip this from right here. I will need both hands, so I'm not going to record this part. Or no, never mind, it's pretty easy. So now this is free and we can remove this from the Rav4. In the next part, we're going to remove this trim panel. This is so we can send wire under here and then up to the B pillar. This is very easy to do. You just simply like remove clips from the back side. You might already be able to see, but I do have the subwoofer wire running already towards the front. I did not remove it from the time when I installed it behind the 4-channel amplifier. So all we're doing is kind of showing you how to run the wire, and then now we're going to go into the B pillar. The wire harness that goes through the door is located over here. So we need to remove this entire cover so we can access that panel. We need to first start by removing the weather strip, which is simply done by pulling it off. This will kind of free it from the door. Then down over here we have a seat belt bolt that we need to remove. So this is a cover. We're going to remove this cover, and this bolt is probably a 14mm as well. Yes. I'm also going to remove the weather strip from the passenger door side as well, and the clip over here, so that this thing can be fully loose from the wall. There are also trim clips located up over here that we need to push away from. And here's your thing. So it's not trim clips, it's actually like compressed pinch points, let's say. Then here are 2 white trim clips here, and then this is where your bolt hole is. So with that removed, we can take a closer look inside of the wire harness that goes through the wall of our B pillar and into the door panel. Looking over here, we have our wire panel. It goes through the door over there, and then it goes to the door speaker right here. These 2 wires from the right channel of our subwoofer will tap into 2 wires that go to the door speakers. In my Rav4 adventure with the basic 6-speaker system, the 2 wires we're going to tap into are located up here. It is the top 2 wires. They're the 2 fat ones. In total, there are 3 fat wires, but we're looking at the top 2. One of them has a red strip, and the other one, you can barely see it, but there is like a mint color strip as well. These are the 2 wires you want to tap into. When we put the red wire inside of that groove and then close it up, it'll strip the sleeve, expose the wire, which will make contact with this metal here, and then we're going to use a spade connector to connect it on this end. There isn't a lot of space to work with, and this wire is twisted all the way down here and then twisted even down into here. So you don't have a lot of places to tap into it. So we're gonna go up over here. Kind of sucks that they did twist it up though, honestly. We'll pinch it right here for one of the wires. I'm not able to do this one-handed, so I'm going to put the camera down and show you the afterwork. So you can see we got our T-tap connectors on the red and mint green wires. We're going to get a spade to kind of connect it into this port so it can make contact with the metal conductor of the wire. Then we're going to connect that spade to this wire here. I'll go ahead and shorten this wire because I have so much excess. Just want to have enough to go over here. What I'm doing now is taking a voltmeter. I am tapping into one of the speaker wires on the B pillar. I am using the feature on the voltmeter that sends an alarm if there is conductivity between one wire all the way through to the B pillar. So behind the head unit, I am touching this point over here, and it is beeping on my voltmeter, which tells me that the wire that I'm tapping into right now is positive, which is the non-red wire. So the red wire on the B pillar of the passenger side is negative. The other wire, whatever color that may be, the mint green one, is positive. I'm going to do the same thing for the driver's side. Now I tapped into the wire on the driver's side, and if I make contact over here with the other side of my voltmeter, make contact down here, we basically go from an open loop, which is no contact, to a closed loop with contact, which tells me that whatever wire I tapped into here is negative. So in this case, it's really hard to tell what the colors are. The wire with the mint green strip is your positive, and then in this case, the wire with the white strip is your negative. So if we look over here on my wire harness, the top one is your negative, then the one under that is your positive. We're looking at these 2 points over here. On the passenger side B pillar, the strip with the red wire is your negative, and then the one with the mint green is your positive, as verified by the head unit wiring. Over here we have my subwoofer wire for the right side. It goes up over here, behind this place over here, and then it connects into the wire harness on the B pillar. My red wire is connected to the mint green strip, and then my black wire is connected to the one with the red strip. I know it's opposite in terms of color, but that is how it's set up. So just like that, we are now having right channel signal from the rear door speaker going into our subwoofer, which is what we want. And we're going to repeat this step for the driver's side. This is basically everything you need to do to install a subwoofer into your Rav4, a subwoofer with a built-in amplifier. I went with the one that goes into the spare tire. You can get one that doesn't go in there, it just sits on the cargo area. What you have to do is remove the rear seats and several trim panels so that you can access the B pillars on both the passenger and the driver's side. You do have to do it for both because you need to get signal from both sides. And follow the wiring that I did in here for the positive and negative, so you have your polarities correct. And I did verify it with the head unit to make sure that the polarities are accurate and that you won't have any cross phasing or whatever they call it. If you're going to undergo this sort of project, I would consider purchasing sound deadening material as well, and consider applying it in the rear cargo area and under the bench, since you already have it exposed. And then as you go through and upgrade other things in your Rav4, you'll have enough material to cover those sections as well. For example, all 4 doors, and then even these panels over here as well that I have on both sides. I've covered everything except the floor where you step and under the passenger and driver seat. That'll be a future video probably when the weather is consistently good. And then I also did do the headliner as well as sound deadened up here when I installed the Princer roof rack. So it's good to have that material on hand just in case you pop open a trim panel. You can quickly apply it and make incremental improvements into the noise of your vehicle. So that's really it. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments section and I'll check it out. Otherwise, enjoy your subwoofer. I'll leave a link to everything that I use in this video in the description section. The subwoofer, the T-tap connectors, even the tools that I have, although you might already have that. Consider purchasing with the links. They do support the channels and they allow me to do these sort of installs to build a library of resources for others to use. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.